step lifters. So I just came down. Today I have a squat session, and what you just saw was me just coming here down, putting on my shoes and doing a squat. And although I already rewatched the tape, it didn't look too bad. I have to say that I felt extremely stiff, especially around all of my hips. So today I want to show you what I do before every single squat session of mine, since I already said that my process is decently lengthy because I want the best result. I want to feel the most comfortable. I want to feel like everything is kind of warm. So what do? I basically do a couple of squats just like that. I usually do a little bit more squats, and I don't really use my shoes, just to get the muscles moving. So that is what I will be doing, and I will catch up to you after I did that. After doing that, what I'm gonna use is a lacrosse ball. You can also use a tennis ball. However, if you don't know how a lacrosse ball is made, it's pretty sturdy. It's really hard, okay? And what I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna basically do a massage on my adductors because I squat with a pretty wide stance. So having my adductors nice and relaxed it feels really good, okay? I'm gonna do it and it's gonna be sped up. Okay, after doing that, we did our adductors, so we're gonna get back at them once I do everything else, because I feel like for me that is the most important part. You might realize that for you it can be the quads, it can be the glutes, it can be the upper back. Everybody's built different, so that is what we're gonna be basically careful of. We're now gonna do the glutes again with the lacrosse ball. We put it down. We wanna work, for instance, on the right side. We're gonna get on this position. So the leg that we're gonna massage is gonna be on top of the other's knee. Okay, we're gonna move around. I know that it's gonna be quite painful, but it's gonna give you a release on the area, and you're gonna feel more nimble when you're going through the motions, or at least that's what it does for me. An important thing that I want to discuss with you is the fact that I cannot really tell you whether this stuff is gonna give you any benefit in the long term. What I can guarantee, however, is that if you do this before the session, you're gonna feel way better. And that is the reason why I do it. Maybe in a couple of years I will be able to tell you if it actually does something, but since I didn't really have any experience of it, I've only been doing this for a couple of weeks, if you will. I'm gonna share it with you, just telling you that it works for the workout. I have no idea if it is gonna work in the long run. So we hit our glutes, we hit our adductors. Personally, I have extremely flexible hamstrings, so I don't need to hit the hamstrings. What I need to hit, however, are the quads. For the quads, we're gonna use the foam roll. Try to get a sturdy one. This one was of cheap plastic, so I put inside a tube of another plasticky material, which I don't remember the name, but it is much sturdier. And you're gonna use that. You can do either one leg or both legs at the same time. So you get up and you start rolling. And remember to have patience, okay? Use your weight and sit on the tighter spots, okay? Because you're gonna feel that in some places will hurt more than others. Where it hurts, that is where we wanna stand on, although it sucks. Today is feeling actually quite well, at least in the quad department. Change the angle a bit, so put your knees more inward and test again. Okay, yeah, right here I'm really feeling it, so I'm gonna hold the position for a bit. Another important thing to remember is that you don't want to flex your legs. You want to keep everything nice and loose, okay? So that the tissue is relaxed and it's gonna be basically attached or broken up, if you will, by the foam roller. Now on the side, which is what hurts the most for me personally. Make sure not to hit your ITB band. There is this long fibrous band which is just, it's not contractile tissue, okay? So there is no reason to basically roll on that. It's just painful and it really won't give you any benefits in my experience. Only do it on the muscle. So I'm gonna do it on the left side as well. There we go. It hurt quite a bit, so that's nice. However, I already feel like everything is much nimbler. So, moving on. We basically took care of our quads. Now, you see, if I already come here, I don't really feel anything to be tense, you know, it's much better. I don't know if this helps the performance. I would say yeah, because I feel more comfortable sitting at the bottom of the squat. As I said, we're gonna get back at the adductors because, in my opinion, again, those are the most important thing to break up. We're gonna move on now and we're gonna do our ankles. So for our ankles, we're gonna do two things, but first we wanna kind of at least warm up our calves a slight bit. So I'm gonna speed this up. Okay, after we've moved them around a bit, we're gonna hit again the foam roller for the calves this time. Okay, now what we wanna do, we wanna again hit the muscle, not the Achilles heel. That won't do anything good for us. So let's start on the muscle, hit it nicely and put the other leg over. You can start easily keeping your butt on a surface. However, once you see that there is nothing, we want to hold ourselves up and really drive the leg inward, like towards the ground, in order to really try to break out everything that there is. I usually have very tight calves, however they are kind of the hardest part for me to really foam roll. See, I'm really not feeling it, so I'm gonna try to use the lacrosse ball and see what happens. Of course I feel it much more because there is less surface where your calf can kinda lean on, although it's gonna take more time, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, much better. I'm going to do the other side as well with the ball. Okay, moving on. And I mean moving on in general, since we're going to still do something for the ankles. So grab a band if you have it. If you don't really need to do this thing. This is called a banded joint mobilization. I saw these a lot and I feel like these are the less useful thing. But you know, I still do them because you never know, right? So the idea is that our band, as you can see, should stand on the like on this part of our feet, okay? So it shouldn't be high. There is not doing anything. It should be sitting at the bottom of our feet. Some people, and I believe that I do slightly, have the talus bone, which is a bone of the feet, which basically stops the ankle from traveling forward of the knee. And this helps us because basically the band is pulling this talus bone down and we are basically trying to move over it. What I like doing is with my other feet pushing the band down. In that way the pulling of the band is even more focused on the talus bone, in my opinion. And I just do a couple of reps. Nice feet, put it there, and go. Don't just think of pushing the knee forward, also think of curling your feet up. So think of doing this as well. So do both. Because the tibialis muscle is also responsible for this movement, so actively using it will help you. It's the same way as if you think of raising your arm, and raising your arm while flexing the bicep, okay? You are probably gonna have a slightly more range of motion. After we've done that, we basically just have to do some static stretching. So go to a wall and just stretch. Right now, of course, I'm stretching my left calf. And we're gonna lengthen it. Usually static stretches are bad before training, okay? This will decrease your performance. However, I am not training the calves, number one. And number two, having my flexible calves actually allow me to have a better depth when I squat. So I'm only gaining from doing this thing, okay? But for everything else, don't do it. You will never see me static stretch like my quads doing something like this, because it's just stupid. It won't really help you in any way or form. So this is one way that you can stretch. The other way is finding something over the floor and just holding your weight down, you know, and coming over. Right now, the majority of the weight is on my right foot, oh my god, on my right foot. And just slightly move over. And you're gonna feel a very nice stretch. I'm gonna do the same with my left foot. There you go, see that I can say the amount of feet correctly. As you can see, my left feet I feel like is a bit more contracted. Sorry, my left calf. Still thinking about feet. Okay, there we go. So now I'm gonna do something interesting. Number one, I feel like that my dorsiflexion has slightly improved. But then I want to do something, because if you follow the channel, you know that a couple of weeks ago, I basically put down these signs, okay? You can actually see them, which basically should be showing my mobility of the ankles with my right and my left one, okay? So I should be able to at least replicate this. As you can see, pretty much there. I'm sorry for the poor quality. As you can see, I can touch. However, my heel came off, okay? I'm gonna try in some other positions, because I feel like that, wait a second. No, see, I don't really think that this is actually helping in the long run. Again, I'm gonna try. Yeah, the left one is at the very least the same, you know. But as you can see, I didn't really improve from when I first started doing this stuff. So I believe that they only give you a good effect once you do them, and it lasts for maybe a couple of hours. But after that, there really is nothing. Moving on. What else do we need to squat? I personally have a bad shoulder mobility, okay? Because my left shoulder is usually stiffer than my right one. So I do this. Okay, now you can see me. I pick the lighter bar. This is like 8 kilos. I put it on my back and I do, how is it called? Basically a reverse military, in the sense that I have the weight behind my back. And I really focus on controlling it, especially on my left arm. And I try to get a deeper range of motion, you see? The deeper I go, the better it is. So at the beginning it's narrower, and with time I'm going to start opening it up. Some of you might have heard that doing behind the neck presses is dangerous for your shoulders. And I have to agree with that if you're using a big weight, because your shoulder is not used to work in this position. But slowly making sure that your shoulder at least gets used to have some resistance there is only going to benefit you. So of course I'm not going to use like 35 kilograms in total. I'm going to use 4 kilograms in total, because the bar is 8 and it's for arm, so that it's extremely light. But here I can really feel like my shoulder is doing something. Then another good thing for the shoulder is again with the lacrosse ball, and this is going to be an active stretch. So I want you to basically, you see this is a wall, okay? This is how the wall is made. I basically want you to be facing the wall, okay? and have the lacrosse ball in contact with the wall and with your chest. Okay, and you can start massaging there. However, we are in this position for one simple reason, which is that we can actually do a more of an active kind of way, because basically if I'm able to actually move my arm while I'm basically massaging my chest, I feel like that it kind of helps me a bit more. I'm not a physiotherapist, I have no idea if this actually helps. This is just what I'm doing and I feel like it works better for me. Okay, there is one last thing that I usually do, and it's a slight dead hang. So let's get here. Okay, we've almost done everything. I swear that we are getting towards the end. But again, you don't really need to do everything that I'm doing. I'm just showing you my full routine. Then you can kind of pick and choose exercises from whenever you feel like you are hurting or when you feel stiff. So, hip flexors. These basically have the opposite movement of the squat, okay? In the squat you are extending, these are actually allowing you to raise your leg. And we want to have them active, okay? I really feel like that they help a lot with hip pain, and to do them we're basically just going to do this type of movement, which I don't really know how to call, but basically I do them like this. I just sit on the bar and I start doing them. If you have ever done Muay Thai, you know that this is how you check a kick, so it is the same movement. Okay, once I do this, I usually just go to do another round just for my adductors, and then I start squatting. So I'm gonna be doing that, and I'm gonna hear another squat for you on the camera, so you will see which looks better. I'm gonna show the new squat, then I'm gonna replay the old squat, then the new, so you can have kind of a fresh comparison. There is just one last thing that I want to show you, which is something that I usually do later, because the front squats aren't my first movement of the day, but it's extremely important to achieve a nice thoracic extension, okay? So the thoracic part of the spine is the upper back pretty much, and we're gonna be able to have a very nice extension that will help us hold the weight. And to do that, we're gonna use this stretch, which is very famous. A lot of Olympic weightlifters actually do it, so I'm not gonna really give you anything too new. So you're gonna get down, you can hold the weight, I'm gonna use it later, and you wanna rest on this, okay? Once we are here, you wanna brace, just as if you were in a position of front squat, and then you wanna extend backwards, but we're not gonna just stay there, we're gonna slightly move on, and have basically our very nice foam roller allow us to extend our thoracic spine. Remember to brace. And then you come back. If you're doing it nicely, you're gonna have your shirt wrapped around it. Again, as I said, you can also use a weight. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna hit the last squat, so you're gonna see everything. There you go. I felt much more comfortable at the bottom. I feel like that with more weight I can hit even deeper place, since the weight will help you kind of go down. I feel much less stiffness. My adductors are still slightly stiff, but again, that is because of my squat position and it's very wide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys in the next video.